So e-ink phones today rather than e-ink tablets. Very warm welcome to you all. I'm looking forward to this one as well. Warm welcome to Rasmus, I suppose, and Paula. Very warm welcome to you both. It's going to be great. I'm going to go through the top 10. I can't believe that I've actually got 10 different e-ink phones, and some of them I've had to kind of bundle together into categories. And we're going to start after a few minutes. I'm just going to pop this up here just so that you know that I'm going to cover a couple of things first, but we're going to about 9:15, so in about 12 minutes, I'm going to start the top 10 countdown. And before then, I wanted to show you these things. I really quickly wanted to show you two bits of news that I've got. The first bit of news being that the Note Air 5C has just had an update. And the Note Air 5C update, it has included something new in, and you can see there's quite a lot of ghosting there because they've included a new mode called Smooth. So Boox have taken away modes we thought to make things simple. Now we've got HD mode, which is like the sharpest, least ghosting, but every time you do anything, it's going to need to do a kind of, not a full refresh there. It's not making the whole screen dark, but it is sort of individually, it's taking a little bit longer to do that refresh. Then there's a speed mode, which should have less ghosting, and actually that is really quite clear. It should be faster and have less ghosting, but then they've also added smooth mode. And I want to just leave this on first of all. A fastest refresh experience designed for fluid scrolling and browsing, etc. So for web comics, things like that. There we are. And I don't need to be told that anymore, but I wanted to show you that first of all. So they're not thinking you should use this in the kind of home page like this, because it's not really necessary, but you can see how quick it is. So I wouldn't have it on in the home page. So I'll go back to speed mode for my home page. And we should see that after a full refresh, yeah, we don't get any of those ghostings or very little ghosting there. It really is well controlled, the lack of ghosting on here. But for example, maybe in OneNote, that might be actually really quite good where you're scrolling around. So I was on speed, now on smooth. Yeah, okay, quite a bit of ghosting you can see there. So maybe not perfect for this. Let's just try writing in OneNote and see if it's even better. I wonder if even you could get away with this without even needing that kind of workaround that they've added, the kind of printing on top. I wonder if you can actually get away with that. I wonder, actually, what I'm going to very quickly do, if you'll bear with me, is I'm going to go ahead and download, well, I'll just get Concepts as sat right there. I wonder if in the fast mode, even a drawing app like Concepts would work, because this is now 30 frames per second. So that would be really good to see. But certainly I was trying it out earlier for browsing. Go into Chrome, go on to BBC. And yeah, I'm in the fastest mode, and you can see that's now 30 frames per second. That's incredibly smooth. It is quite ghosty. I'm not, jazzing it up. Maybe I can play with this a little bit longer. Yeah, Rashi's doing really nicely. Let's check out a video. I was going to go to YouTube, but let's check out a quick clip there.
Been in Barcelona for around 5 months now. How are you settling into this city?
Yeah, I mean, you can see the motion there. It looks good, right? So, this is, I guess, a worthwhile improvement for certain things. Let's go to one of my videos. Got premium, thanks. And yeah. Yeah, I mean, I still don't think e-ink's the right thing for videos. Don't get me wrong. It's not what I'm saying at all. But as showing off the e-ink, how it works, that's pretty good, right? So you now have a 30 frames per second. You now have a smooth mode in the Boox. It's not actually completely out just yet. It's It's in the beta mode, so it will come in the next update, I'm sure. I just want to try the basics piece. Let's have a new drawing. So this is, you know, typically we'd have to say, well, we can't really use e-ink for drawing in third-party apps, but maybe, yeah, you can see it's still a little bit behind, but it's a lot closer than it was. So if you did have to draw in a third-party app and you really wanted to get access to an entire color palette, where is the color palette on this one? Is that it? There's some red. You could at least, yeah, it's still not the low latency experience of working on a in their own app, but maybe if you wanted to make the drawing in concepts to use somewhere else or any other app, then that would be a good thing to do, a really useful thing. Okay, I'm going to fire into the chat. I want to talk about one more thing as well, similar, and then we'll get back in 5 minutes will be the time for me starting the countdown. Really interesting addition. Yeah, hello to you, Aaron. Very warm welcome to you all. I don't know, actually, that's a good question there. You can notice I'm using this older pen rather than the pen that comes with it because of that there. Good to see you, my buddy. Good to see you. One issue you have with the Remarkable Pro, it looks so much nicer on your stream than in real life. Probably the most expensive thing I've returned, yeah. But that's one of the things I've said quite a lot. At least you can do that. You know, at least you can do that. You know, that 100-day returns policy that Remarkable have. I mean, it is, honestly, it is as close as I can be. It's on standard picture profile. It's on auto. I use the exposure dial to there. This is how it looks. I think what you're thinking about is that, you know, I am making a video and cameras need a lot of light. So I have, you know, daylight balanced. I've got big daylight balanced light behind me shining on this area so that I don't get everything covered in shadows and everything like this, you know. So please understand that I want to make really high quality video, and you probably wouldn't want to watch my videos if they were grainy and horrible to look at. So there we go. Good day to you. All right, warm welcome. I'm going to really quickly show you this one more thing because it made its travels. It went not around the world, I suppose, but it went all the way across Europe, and it's back. I'm going to carry on. I'm going to get back to the actual thing you've tuned in for in just 5 minutes. Okay, so here we are. It's the Note Max. I mean, it is good, and honestly, the biggest complaint I had about this was the ghosting at the start, and you can see actually there still is some ghosting across there, and this doesn't yet have the kind of smooth. I don't know if they will add the smooth, but it's got that ghosting because I was in the speed mode. But in the HD mode, it used to be, yeah, there still is some ghosting around. Yeah, you can still see a fair bit of that, but it had a hardware fix. And they would, you know, the idea of the hardware fix was that actually it would be a better ghosting performance. But I can still see some, you know, I've had a little bit of a play about with it. I think this is, when I use this, I just think this is a wonderful tablet because it's the note variety, it's the note line. Page 10 is a new thing and it's just been updated. Fit to screen by default, display the entire page completely. Fit to width, fair enough. So we've got some different quick kind of fit modes, zoom modes. I can see, I'm not going to say that, oh, I'm in speed here, because one thing that is really good, let's not forget about the Boox, is the app optimization. It remembers what you were in for each app. So now I've put it back to HD. If I now leave this app and I come back to it afterwards, then what will happen is it will go back into the mode that I've selected there. And whatever app that I go into, if I go out of here and I haven't got anything else open, but if I have something else open, like the home page, then it will still be, let's see, was in the HD. Let's just go to recommend. And you probably should leave them in the recommended modes in the system apps, because that will be the best. But now when I go back into the notes, it should have remembered what we were in before, which is the HD customized mode. Yeah, so I think that's really quite good. And I'll talk a little bit about some other brands later on, because we are about to launch into the top 10 e-ink phones. And that's what you're here today for. So what do you think? I'll go ahead and spam down in the chat which one you think will be the top, which one you think. Thanks, appreciate you too. It does have the effect of making an ugly device look like Mariah Carey under bright lights. Yeah, and also you could say an ugly gentleman as well. But you wouldn't, of course you wouldn't, because we're here to be polite and have a good time together and have a good old chat. Incidentally, it's catching my eye on the feed. It's catching my eye here. Also looking great under the lights is this is a Spectra 6 e-ink frame here. It's got a Van Gogh on it at the minute. I just thought that actually, looking at this, the yellows and the blues really do kind of pop on there as well. And I've got something, well, who can name the artist of the one above? I hope everyone gets this one straight away. If you don't, where have you been for the last century? But the one above is a little bit harder, just by seeing the corner of the larger ink poster there as well. Cool. So Palma 2 Pro or Hybreak Pro black and white could be the winner. Max is good. Yeah, it's similar to Kandinsky. That's a good guess. Very similar style to him. But not quite. So I'll leave that open for a bit longer. And we're just about there. I'm going to write the top 10 e-ink phones. I'm going to write them out on the Note Air 5C, because that will be just the right size. Very warm welcome to you all. Let's fire on. I'll just get things just in their right setup, ready to go. And then I'll be back after just a few moments. It's great to be back, everybody. And a warm welcome to you all. And let's fire on. Thanks so much for being here and spending time with me on this live stream. I really enjoy engaging with you guys and answering your questions live. It's a massive support to me. Now, if you do decide that one of the devices that I review here on my channel is for you, then go ahead and check the links in the description, because when you make a purchase through a YouTuber's affiliate links, you make it possible for us to keep making content for you. Okay, so well, Van Gogh was this one, Christina. Yeah, absolutely. This one is not Van Gogh, though. It's not Pollock. That would be far more expressive. It's great to be back. It is Delaunay, Robert Delaunay. Okay, if that one, I really like it actually. And again, the one nice thing about the ink poster and the reflection frame actually, and the Bluminate, is they've picked ones that really look good on the Spectra 6 e-ink. I keep saying it, but I really am enjoying every time I get one of these Spectra 6 e-inks. I'm like, yeah, this is really good technology. I saw quite a negative review of the Spectra 6 e-ink that the gentleman had, but it was from a photographer, and I kind of get his point, you know, like actually you take time to make your photography just perfect. You don't want it to be displayed in anything less than, you know, we talk about stops of dynamic range. We were talking about the quality with the gentleman here whose name I can't pronounce. We were talking about that, yeah, let me hear all the opinions, please. Argue with Rod. Let's get Rod ranting in the chat there. We were, where was I? Yeah, he was saying for photography, you've got cameras where you talk about 14 stops of dynamic range, and then you don't want to display that on e-ink, which I don't know how many stops it can have, but where white is never perfectly white and black is never perfectly black. So you haven't got, you know, you haven't even got basic contrast really. So top 10 e-ink phones. And it's amazing to me that there are, you know, at least over 10 that I have here. Whereas this time last year, I would have been delighted just to have had one. And I tried out the phones as they came in, and I've used them and have used them, and they have worked. And I was reflecting on one of them, which is the Hybreak Pro, and that won't be here today, the Hybreak Pro. I've got all the others. but I was using the Hybreak Pro and the review that I've got, I was in Fuerteventura and I was using that as my main phone. And I still did have my larger phone with me, just more because it was already signed into so many things and because of YouTube. But I have used these and I have put away my main phone and I've said, no, I'm going to stick with some of these. I haven't used them all in that way because I just haven't had the time to transfer them to be like daily drivers, but I have used them. And I'm not just saying to you, like, it seems like the conclusion a lot of the time from tech YouTubers is, oh, I'm glad these things are here, but they just don't fit in. They don't do it for me. I have tried these and I have tried to use them as my main daily driver. And I think I've reached a point where I want to have two phones, not the classic tech YouTuber of one iPhone and one Android phone, but because of who I am and what I talk about, one e-ink phone and one non. And I think the biggest thing that holds me back is probably YouTube. Like, because I like YouTube. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys like YouTube? I really don't mind watching YouTube videos. I really enjoy listening to people. And it's, you know, YouTube often for a lot of us is like podcast, isn't it? And it's like, it's there being our kind of companion and everything like that. And having your phone just sort of, you know, I set my phone up in its kind of tent mode, I guess you'd call it, whatever you'd call that. And it sits there on YouTube quite a lot. And yeah, that's one of the things that I sort of still want to have an LCD or OLED good phone in my life as well. So I'm not, you know, I don't think that some of these could replace your phone entirely, and many of you will want to try that. And I think it's a worthwhile thing, but there's still a place for LCD and OLED. And therefore, I haven't included, you know, I have made these are all e-ink phones. I'm not going to include the TCL Next paper, which I've been talking about a lot recently, because it's a paper-like phone, I suppose. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good time, right? I'm not including that. I'm also not including the Remarkable Move, and it's here somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is, because purely because it's actually currently it's got a place in the top 10 e-ink tablets. I think it's 10th, and therefore, and it is kind of phone size, and it could have been here, but no, I've gone for things that are kind of phone size or actually have cellular. They don't all have cellular, but I've gone for things that are in the kind of phone category. And I think the Remarkable Move is just on that small tablet category, and I might do a top 10 smalls or top 10 readers or something, but actually it's in the top 10 tablets, and so I've stuck to things like that. So without further ado, then, what's coming in at number 10? Number 10, the first thing here, and what's happened here, there we are, is the Light Phone 2. Okay, anyone tried this one? This is the Light Phone 2, and I think it's pretty terrible, and it is the, you know, there's nothing below it. I think it's, you know, I understand the sort of interest in having this thing, but you know, it's, for me, it's just unusable. Lots of reasons. The main one being, I think this is indicative of it, is they put directions on it because everyone was asking for GPS, and you'll notice it won't find my location because it doesn't have GPS, like actual GPS in it. What it has is it has a little set of maps that it can kind of like, it can, you know, it hasn't got a SIM card in it, so it can't do that. But it won't ever find my location. It might take a guess by like the nearest kind of internet point, you know, like whatever your kind of IP address is. And yes, you'll be able to put a start point and an end point, and then it will kind of like give you directions, but you'll have to follow it. It won't tell you where you are and sort of give you sort of live directions. It will just be like following, just like having somebody there to tell you what to do. So I find that that's not the only thing wrong with it, but I find that's kind of indicative of things that are wrong with it. And it's so small. I like the idea of it being this light, but the e-ink screen is so bad. It's just so sunken in. It's very quite far sunken in, further than the other ones. The top layer is like, it's hard to almost see through. It's not transparent enough this kind of plasticky material on the top. It's, you know, please, if somebody tell me, you know, tell me different, okay? But no, it's not the thing. And I think that the fact that it can't be a good e-reader, it's like, you know, why have something with e-ink on it and not try and make it a great e-reader? That's what I thought about this when I had it. You know, I just think that this kind of screen quality on it is so bad. The interface is so terrible. The only things if you want to change things on it, you have to go onto the web on a browser and change it. I don't even know how to go back at this point. I mean, that's on me, not knowing how to go back and everything like that. And I understand, you know, if you really want a detox thing, that there's an aim here. But I just think there's barely anything you can do with it, basically. Yeah, so not a great thing. I gave it a go, did put my SIM card in it. I couldn't get much out of it. And I guess they aren't interested in making an e-reader, because in their next one, in Light Phone 3, they have gone for OLED randomly, like black and white OLED. You know, I don't think that this particular way of achieving minimalism has legs. I agree with the idea of minimalism, but I just think that that's not the way to do it. Yeah, it certainly is on the list, but whether that's also the way to do it is another question as well. Light Phone 2 was my first e-ink phone. I had it for maybe 2 weeks. Oh yeah, so just, you know, it's just so many things that you just couldn't kind of do with it. The Boox Palma 2 Pro is not really a phone. It doesn't have notifications. Yeah, interesting one. What else we got? In general, I'm happy with the internet in our pocket. My husband lives 10,000 miles away in Egypt, and I would never have met him without the internet. Yeah, that's a nice thing to say. The internet is absolutely wonderful, isn't it? Screen contrast. I would love Boox to do all their devices in white. It looks amazing compared to black for some reason. Is there a reason why most black? Yeah, it's just yeah, as Rod says, it then contrasts the screen, so the screen looks as if it's whiter, even though it hasn't made any change, of course, to the actual screen. Palma 2S is not a phone. Hybreak Pro needs help. That's why I'm trying to mash them together. Yes, an interesting one. You know, kind of, yeah, there's still none of them are perfect, are they? So the next one, it's actually not a phone either. Yep, here it is. But I put it in this category because it's kind of like very, very ultra mobile. This is the XTEINK, and there's something X4, I think it's called. And there's something to really love about this. One thing that I really like about it is I've never actually charged this. Like, it's still, I don't even know how much it's got on it. Yeah, look, I've never charged it. I haven't spent a lot of time reading on it, but like its standby modes are really, really good. I haven't had to charge it like once, not even out of the packet, I think, if I charged it. And yeah, there's something nice about it in terms of its minimalism, but the issue with it is that it's doing this. You can see the way it's running things together. It just isn't showing. This is some Dante stuff. It isn't showing text correctly. You can see, I'm just trying to find a few things. This one doesn't seem to be too bad, but there's times when spaces are missed out. That's interesting. Is this a rich text one? Because it doesn't do it. No, it's an EPUB as well. It doesn't do it in rich text, but then with rich text, you don't have all the characters you need for reading any language other than basic English. So that's no good. But everything else, it kind of runs words together. And although I've been told that I'm doing it wrong, that not by them incidentally, there's a useful question, but by other people who have these and like these, that I need to run more frequently, look, I need to run a beautification script on the EPUBs that I'm getting before I put them onto here. And it's like, fine, okay, but I shouldn't have to run a beautification script in order to read on my portable e-reader. But for 50 quid, this is really nice. It's incredibly thin, and you know, so the battery is really good. It's basically running on a EP32, so which is just a really simple thing that, like, this isn't EP32, but all of these e-ink picture frames and things, these are running on like EP32 boards. So very, very simple, got Wi-Fi. you know, can drive a screen, has a little bit of storage for an operating system. Not a very high processor at all, but good enough for some basic reader stuff. You know, but I like that, and I just want them to get it right. I think they might. I think they might get it right, because they seem very committed. They're very active in Reddit and things like that. And you can, if you really want this to work and you're happy to run a beautification script on it, then you can. Or if you can find places with, apparently Gutenberg EPUBs are some of the worst for this, and they often have these issues. But I don't know. It should just work out the box, in my opinion. This is cool as well, by the way. I meant to show this at the start. This is the little NFC powered wave share thing. It doesn't even take a battery. It doesn't even need a battery. It gets its energy to change the e-ink from the NFC. So if you take it off the NFC, it stops. Cool. So number 8 next is the Moan Ink Palm. And I actually like this. The Moan Ink Palm, I think I've got the Ink Palm 5, although there's a bigger one now as well. And I think, is this like a sub-brand of like Xiaomi or something? I think it's gone onto standby because I've charged it. Again, it's not a phone. It is just an e-reader. Yeah, I mean, you should get one of those. They're on Waveshare. I've got a video coming. But yeah, like 50 quid for this guy. Well, now it won't turn on. But, you know, as you can see, it's got a Chinese ROM on it, although they say English operating system. So, you know, it can do that, but it is actually a Chinese version of Android on there. Obviously, it's got stage fright now. I don't know what's happened. I turned it on earlier on when I started this thing. It is really cute, the XTEINK. Yeah, absolutely. Let me know. Have you got it to be able to be readable, though? Am I doing something wrong? What have you put on it? And send me the file or something, you know, because it should work with EPUBs. Oh, I'm gonna give in with this, aren't I? Maybe I need to, you know, if that's the case, what do you all think? Maybe I should. If it's going to do that in the middle of the live stream, maybe this needs to happen. I mean, I think I'm right. I think I'm right where it is, but just for fun, we'll just move these guys down, and we'll pop the Ink Palm back up. I think I'm going to eventually put it back down again, but I think because it didn't turn on right now, I've got to relegate it. We'll see if it turns back on a little bit later, but I actually think it's quite good. Yeah, it's got stage fright here. All you lovely folks are here, and it's like, no. But I mean, it's an older e-ink screen. It's not very up to date. That's you know, but it is very light. It doesn't have a speaker on it or anything like that. It's just all I ever did with this, but I enjoyed it, was to put on the international, the US version of Kindle, download some Kindle books, and then just sit and read on it. And if you just want phone sized, it's got a warm front light as well, which is good. Okay. And you know, it's annoying that you can't get Google Play on or anything like that. But if you just want to put on your co-reader, or I think it probably has that all by default, then these are okay. And I don't know if it's just sort of like needs to be. I'll plug it back in and see if it just needs a jolly good charge. And if it gets there by the end, we'll put it back up at number 8. So I'll just let it kind of. Aha! It's woken up. So it was obviously he's doing that one of those, the Android thing, where sometimes if whatever part of the circuitry which measures the battery sometimes doesn't get very well calibrated, especially when it's been left for some time. So you'll often find, I don't know, the battery life of an Android device is not very good, like initially. And I think that's maybe what's happened there. But there we are, and it is 100%. So who knows what's happened there. You've got 2 refresh modes, that graphic and text. Now you've got warm and cold light as well. Yeah, it's now frozen up. There we go. So I think it's going to merit its place at the bottom of the pile after all. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's move on without further ado. So number 7, we're getting into the kind of, the devices now, which are really designed for minimalism, which are designed to be phones. This one is going to be at number 7. This is the minimal phone. And again, I can say something along the lines of like, I like the idea. I was really keenly following this on the Kickstarter. They have done some updates since I first used it and first reviewed it. And it is improved, but not enough that I'm going to change my sort of opinions of it. Because, well, they really haven't done enough with Android. And you can see in here, I've got to turn the screen brightness down because it really is absolutely destroying the... It's got a dedicated ink button there. How do you do that though? Hold it down? No, where's the light then? It's just it's not very well considered, the Android modifications. It hardly has modified at all. Where is the light gone? There's probably even a shortcut that if I was a user of it full time at the minute, I would know. But you can just see the smeary way that's gone across the screen. Pretty sure it is just, there's one click of that is refresh. So it's got a automatic refresh button. No, gosh, there we are. So somehow I've got into the quick settings there. It's got a warm and cold light. But the biggest issue again is that it's old school e-ink. It's an old technology. In fact, I don't even think it is e-ink. It's a like a different brand of e-paper. And can you see how these dots have got high contrast? Because I'm in this kind of mixed mode, but everything else has got low contrast. If I do the single refresh, everything now is in the high contrast. So it's kind of like, you're always getting this issue, whereas it just doesn't know. You see the ghosting on there? Go back to the thing. I think I just need to turn the lights right off, to be honest. There we are. It's got some presets, but I mean, they're no good. And it's just like, so many times you go into the settings, for example, and instead of having like a dedicated kind of e-ink thing, you've got just the stock Android. And stock Android's cool when it's just a simple phone with an LCD or OLED screen, but stock Android is really bad when it's on e-ink because take the menu here. It just doesn't look good at all, does it? Take the menu, the way that's at, that this is something you'll never see a Boox phone have a menu that looks like that, because they've taken that, they know that e-ink can't make that like level of intricacy with grayscale look good. So one thing they did do though, which I will applaud them for, they have done some updates, and it had an update since I last used it. The typing is better. So just find somewhere that I can type. I did have all the apps on it. Let's go into docs quickly. Your typing has been improved, and oh yeah, I'm signed out. Just find anything to type it, and I can tell you, see it trying to do a full refresh the whole time. I can tell you that typing has got better on it, and that the kind of initially it wasn't even the alt symbols and things weren't working, but now they have a decent enough like when you call up the symbols like this, it gives you a decent palette of all the different symbols, and they've managed to get it working so that, like, the capitals work okay. but and it is now one press for the full stop, you know, which was always before you had to press shift to get a full stop initially. And they've added this like double press for it worked that time. It doesn't work in docs, I don't think. But when I was typing in docs, there was a point at which everything worked except the full stop. And so I was typing, I think, oh, they have improved things. This is good. You know, and what happened was the full stop stopped working entirely. And I had to like totally go out of typing in docs and then back in again. And it sort of came back. So it's just like so many little frustrations like that. But I mean, it is a viable phone, and you could, if you are willing to overlook those frustrations or embrace the frustrations in return for not being so addicted to your smartphone, then sure, it's a possibility. But I think better than that, you know, I just don't think they're far enough along yet. And maybe the minimal phone 2 will be great, or maybe they will have some kind of improvement to the software such to the point that I can actually start to recommend this. I'm going to like keep it around and see what they do next. But yeah, I don't think that it's worth any higher in this list than 7th. So 6th then, getting higher up, something that is definitely more well considered is, it was asked for earlier, it's the Mudita Kompakt. Okay, the Mudita Kompakt you know, tries to do something totally different to all of them actually, because it doesn't try and run full Android. It gives you now you see we've got an incredibly customized skin for everything, and there's no settings in here that just sort of dump you out into a basic Android thing. And yeah, you could sideload things. The first thing if you sideload would be to sideload Aurora Store. You can sideload WhatsApp. You can sideload anything here that doesn't need Google Play, basically, for it to work. So I think there's something quite nice about this, especially, you know, the Mudita, for me, they're a brand that make things that they've taken the time to really think through how they're going to sit in your life. And for example, when it's going to interrupt you, when it's going to make noise, that they've considered really carefully what that interruption is like. And I actually think that's really nice. I do think the lady Ursula from Mudita that I interviewed at IFA, she said, oh, I took my Compact and I did a whole trip on it, and I had my boarding cards on it, you know, I had everything that I needed on it, which sounds doable, right? But of course, if your boarding card, as long as you can get a PDF onto this device, which shouldn't be too much of a challenge, as long as you can get a PDF on, then you can have your boarding card and you can scan your QR code as you go on. However, you know, you're going to turn up at a gate and they're going to expect to see, if you show them a phone, you're going to expect to see that airline's app, you know, with your information signed in. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's doable, but it's not the smooth experience that you need for sort of modern life, I think. And my issue with it really, again, it's a little bit like the light phone at the start, is that actually it's not a great e-reader. And you can see I've got a little way through Inferno on it, but you can just see that the text is just not very well defined at all. I get up close, you'll see that it's like printed words before PostScript was invented, and it's just, you know, I can't quite get to focus that close. I think it's just the contrast isn't there. You know, it's readable. It's not big enough to be a great reader, but it's, yeah. And it doesn't take many pages before it gets a bit too muddy and ghosty to be really lovely. And then there are also no e-ink modes on it. So, you know, there's some, I think this is a really nice thing. It doesn't think I'm in Poland, by the way. It's just that's where the weather is set to for some reason. again, one thing I would say for Mudita is they have fought really hard about it, but then they've given you e-ink, and it is an e-ink screen. It's not a knockoff e-ink. It is a proper registered trademark e-ink job, and I think it could have done with a warm front light as well. So that's the bottom 6, if you like. I'm going to just take a couple of moments as well. We'll come back and have a look through the chat, and then yeah, there are 10 yeah, just in this room. Absolutely, I had to go yeah, back into one. I've never actually produced a full video on the light phone, but I've mentioned it a couple of times. But let's fire in. We've got some really good ones coming up in the top 5. What do you kind of think? What do you think is coming next? I'll just give myself a few moments and then we'll be ready for that top 5. I think it should be really quite exciting. I think you can have that one just now. I just want to take a moment to talk about my membership offer. There are 3 tiers of membership. Firstly is the advanced review evaluators, and people love to see my videos before they go live to the public. The next tier is members only videos, and this year I'm increasing the number of members only videos that I put out each month. It's amazing to me that my channel is at the point where I can't respond to every single comment that I get. I try my best to get around to as many as I possibly can, but as a member in any tier, I'll always respond to your questions first. And I do know that many of you have questions about your specific use case. And the last tier is my office only tiers, where I'll offer you a call every quarter if you join that tier. So you can discuss and get advice about which one might suit you, but also how you can integrate these into your work life. I really appreciate that many of you want to support the channel in this way, and this is just a bit more than giving a super thanks on a live stream. So thank you once again. So yeah, just have a quick look through the chat. It's brilliant to be back. Thank you very much for coming here and hanging out with me. Vlad loves this thing. Which one were we talking about? The was that the Moan, was it? Or the minimal? Might have been the minimal, mightn't it, at that point? You were asking about the keyboard. I don't think so. I don't think it's very comfortable as well to type on that keyboard, but maybe a BlackBerry user might find that different. I wanted it to be so much better as well. I just think they needed longer, really, and time with a Kickstarter is not easy. So it's the top 5 is coming up really soon. Okay, so I'm going to be about 3 or 4 minutes, and I'll start the top 5 as well. Let's just go ahead. Top 5. And just pop that on as a little banner if you're joining in just a moment. Okay, so the top 5 is coming up really very soon. A while ago, he said you were about to upload a video on Android apps for note taking. Do you have a release date in mind? Yeah, I think I've actually made it. I just hadn't scheduled it out yet, so it's coming really, really soon. Selected end of English. I selected end of English in settings and then set it to not aligned. Oh, right. This is on the thing. Thank you. End of English in settings and then not aligned. And then in EPUB, I'd select medium text by long pressing the select button and going to text. Yeah. So, but why, you know, fine. I will search out how to do that. So go down to settings and end of English. Ah, that is odd. Truncation and alignment there. Manual index rebuild. It says alignment only. Not aligned. You need to set it to not aligned. Right, done that now. And then in the EPUB, medium text by long pressing. Well, this is exciting. Thanks, Drew. We appreciate you. Those are, yeah. So now I have to long press the select button and then go into text. No, that's not worked. So select adds a bookmark by default, doesn't it? This is one thing I never know how to get to the menus when you're in the thing. They've got it. What did you do next? Medium text. So if that's font, isn't it? Yeah, medium. I'm already in medium. Ready to rebuild index. Clear the cache. Open the EPUB. File passing in progress. Sorry. We're getting there. Okay, it looks like that, but it's just like now I've got just really short lines, and it's now not aligned. So okay, maybe this is better. Hopefully, maybe I can go to smaller. Anyway, I will play about with that. But thank you for getting to the bottom of the issue there, and we will check that out as well. Yeah, so that's the minimal phone here from Paula. Follow the campaign, a bit on the fence about them actually succeed in making a usable, simple phone. Yeah, I mean, you're aware of that, aren't you? When you do go ahead and get yourself a Kickstarter, you know that it might not be the right thing. So yeah, the countdown is top 5 is going to begin in just a moment. I got the XTEINK X4 and Ink Palma Plus, and I love both. X4 is a lot of work to get customized to your liking. For a small budget, I'd recommend the Ink Palma Plus. It's great. Yeah, absolutely it is. It's going to be in the top 5 somewhere. The Palma 2 Pro, isn't it? Poorly translated, but it works okay. Yeah. So, and good on them for obviously they are working on that. But I've just noticed I've accidentally gone into an auto page turn, and don't bother giving us an auto page turn before you've given us just out of the box ability to read EPUBs without any issues, I would suggest. But there we are. Let's fire in now to the top 5, and this is just all going to work perfectly because I've had an issue sometimes with it coming back straight away. Maybe just have to remove that first and then go back in. We are ready. It's all because Rod's here. You know that, don't you, everybody? There we are. When Rod's here, the tech fails because Rod likes his tech just as much as me and likes the kind of high spec live streaming. Right, what's in at number 5 then? Okay, number 5, and I've grouped these two together. I've grouped some of them together because otherwise there's just too many of them. It's actually the HiBreak S. I think these are good. I think both of these are good. And I think that, honestly, if you just want to give them a go, you've got none of the disadvantages of the previous ones in terms of you've got up-to-date screens. Well, not quite fully up-to-date, actually, but well-managed screens, let's say. You can see, look at the lack of ghosting on both of these screens here. You've got this one. I mean, I would say the black and white is the deal out of these two because this is an older form of Kaleido, which is like less than 100 ppi in color. You can really see that in the color areas there, can't you? But still, I read for a long time on the this version, this screen. I read a lot of comics on it and actually really enjoyed it. Still, like all Kaleido, still absolutely sings out in sunlight. Still looks great for reading comics one-handed. But I would suggest this is the option here. These are really like they're phone-like. They don't have NFC and they don't have a fingerprint reader. Those are the two things here. But I mean, I think this is pretty much the same thing. If you think back to the Mudita that I just showed you, and that would really do so much. The Mudita Kompakt 2 could be an absolute winner if they had a Carter 1300 screen on it, and if they had a warm front light, and if they just thought a little bit longer about how to make sure it was a bit more versatile to get a few more sort of essential apps really for people, I think. But I think the HiBreak S, I was really pleasantly surprised by both of these because they have the warm and the cold front lights. Loads of things to really like about that. And Bigme have done a good job of ensuring that there's a good e-ink center there, remembers your customizations. They've got the anti-shake, which stops it doing the funny, especially on color, stops it doing the funny kind of flicker thing that it can sometimes do on color. and it's got the anti-ghosting algorithm built in. So I would strongly suggest, if you're looking to get the cheapest way to get an e-ink phone, or even just a pocket e-reader, really, if you have no intention of putting a SIM card in, although you maybe think one day you might like to, just to be able to take it with you, then I think that the Bigme Hybreak S is actually a recommend. Which means we're now on the top 4. And what I have intended to do is to ask you for your pick. And I'm going to, for the top e-ink phone, what are the 4 options that are left? We have the Palma 2. Now, I think that is, for a lot of people, still could be an option. So that's not the Pro version. The ViWoods reader, and that's black and white all color in there. The Hybreak Pro, and again black and white all color there. And finally the Palma 2 Pro, and I think there's enough to separate the Palma 2 Pro from the Palma 2 because it's color, and it is 4G, 5G. Okay, so go ahead and stick that in the poll. You can answer that there. Keep an eye on that as well. And yeah, they're kind of up-to-date versions of Android now, and I think they're 14 on the S there. So I'm going to go through my top 4, but you can go ahead and we'll see what you guys stick in on the poll as well. Be fascinating to see what you do there, and I'll come back to the chat just at the end if that's all right. So I'll fire through the rest of the top 4 now. So the next one, I will glance at the chat obviously as we go. The next one at number 4, I'm going to bring in 2 of the kind of contenders. This is the ViWoods black and white. I'm not saying it's a number 4 just yet. Okay. This is the ViWoods black and white, and then this is the Palma 2, not the Pro, the Palma 2. And I think it's on. Should be charged up. Hopefully it doesn't get stage fright. And yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about the ViWoods first of all. The thing that annoyed me about the ViWoods was, first of all, it took ages to get Google Play sorted. I did eventually get Google Play sorted, and there we are. But the thing about the ViWoods is that it didn't link with the other ViWoods devices. And I think that's a kind of real, unforgivable thing, really, with the ViWoods. But I do actually think that the screen looks great, and it's a really up-to-date screen. But why only having one color light, I don't know, although it is a very well-balanced light. The ViWoods doesn't have a speaker at the top or bottom. There's one thing about it as well, which again I think is a bit weird, because I think one thing that you could see yourself doing on these phones is using Audible or something like that, audiobooks or podcasts on them as well. So I do think that's an interesting point there. Let's just go ahead and go into a Kindle and find a book. I also find on the ViWoods, I don't actually know what the open recents is because it doesn't ever give you a tutorial. But, it does look really good, and page turns are good. Nice and clicky. There's a lot of thought have gone into the hardware, but probably not enough thought has gone into the software. I mean yet. If I go into something with reading as well. Oh, is that a Wild Robot graphic novel? The screenplay. Okay, that's not what the kids need there. This Palma 2 also has a great screen, and I don't know why I'm not in the speed ink mode. It's still looking absolutely great here, look. But possibly the black and white screen on the ViWoods just pips it in terms of contrast, in terms of clarity, but they both look great. And they're both just really great in the hands. Really, very nice devices to use. Really like that a lot. So what about then the color? Because I'm going to lump the color ViWoods into the same spot. And I like the color ViWoods even better. And both of these are really nice, thin, Really nice in the hand, and they've got a lovely paper-like texture on the top here, although they've done the paper-like texture but with no stylus, which is a bit of an odd choice. But I can't seem to yet get the ViewWoods AI paper color onto the Google Play. You never know. And I've done this, I have put in the code there, so you have to manually put in a GSF ID on both of these. So it's not just finicky, it's a challenge. And so maybe we'll wait and see if that comes there. I'm sure it will do eventually. But you see actually that they've done a nice job of changing their icons. You can see the higher pixel density there because it's a very up-to-date Kaleido-free screen as well. And also you can see they've got the dual color front lights. I mean, look at the way they've actually bothered to change these. It's really quite nice, isn't it? The way they've done the color sliders and everything there. It's got a global grayscale mode as well, incidentally, but it doesn't stop it being pixelated in color areas because that's a divot area there. So it's had to look a bit pixelated there. So you just leave that off because whenever you're in a, it doesn't change the way it is in a thing there, like with paper. So what I did, I used its AI button to record my thoughts about it. So here we go. And, you know, I talked to it for a bit and it kind of summarized it. It's the ViWoods, obviously. Not quite. Hardware's generally excellent. Page turn buttons are nice. Build is good. 4G on both of these is good. Yep. Leaving out a small speaker was a mistake. Might have added a bit of weight. Yeah, it's one issue. But text to speech, things like that, it might have been useful. You can Bluetooth to a speaker or earphones, but not great. You can be a phone if you wanted to. So, but if you are choosing between the two ViewWoods, and spoiler now, they are the number 4. Okay. I think that's properly rated. What do you guys think? The ViewWoods AI paper reader is in at number 4. If you are choosing, I'd go the color, simply because simply because of the lights, to be honest. Simply because having the the dual tone front lights is worth having. It says the AI button's currently in beta on this, which I didn't say, but the AI guessed that. Yeah, so you can do that. But there's no manual so far I've found. There's no onboarding. You do also end up in generic Android menus. So when you go past the kind of first layer of menus, you once again end up in generic Android things. It just shows it hasn't been as customized as some of the others. And the problem for me is probably number 4, generally because the other things that are in the market do what it does better. So lovely hardware. Issues with the Play Store integration, you know. I don't see why you would buy this with the same screen over one of the others. Maybe simply because it's lighter, you know, as a basic kind of reader. But then I don't see why you'd buy this over a sort of a, well, I do actually, because it's a nice one-handed reading experience. If you want an e-ink phone, I was going to say over a Kindle, but one other thing that it doesn't do, it's got different modes. 3 different speeds essentially. So best display looks really top, but that's global now. And so if I now go into a app which I want to be in the speed mode, I have to go in and change that to the speed modes, one of the 2 speed modes. So it's kind of, it's not like the Boox or the Bigme, which remembers where you are. Okay, so not the ViewWoods. That's not going to be the top one. The accessory is really nice as well. Generally, these are nicely designed hardware. Maybe the software can go better. Oh yeah, also the other thing about linking, these are on the same account, but the stuff in my knowledge base hasn't gone across to the other one. So yeah, I mean, I know not many of you are going to decide to buy 2 phones, 2 ViewWoods readers. You buy the color one, but why do they not link if they're, why do they not link together? I don't know. So ViewWoods, Rod, do you think that should be number 1, do you? Now let's have a look at the poll as well. Can I see all the, I can only end it. Oh yeah, open up. Half of you are going for Palma 2 Pro, and only 20% are going for Palma 2 and Palma and the Hybreak Pro, and then about 10% for the ViWoods reader. Cool. Keep adding in there. My pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Right. So what's next then? And I've been talking about it already, but the next is the Palma 2. Palma 2 is great. It's not a phone. It doesn't have any connectivity. So maybe the ViWoods, for some of you, might just pip it because of that. But I think that for most of you, if you're just looking for a sort of single-handed reader, which is all that the ViWoods will really do for you, then you can go ahead and get this, because, well, Google Play is installed by default. You can install any app. If you want to use an AI assistant, that's the Boox one, but you can download any one you want. And I use Otter on my phones and things like that. It's just a little bit more straight in with no fuss. Yeah, to say Boox is no fuss compared to ViWoods is something, isn't it? We'll see if that gets improved and they get the ultra fast on here as well. But generally, I just think that there's not a lot not to like here. It's a great clear screen. It isn't the Carter 1300 like the ViWoods is, but it's just a solid e-reader phone. Great form factor, tried and true. Yeah, Rod is right that the look of this phone is a bit more dated than the ViWoods is, and the ViWoods hardware is really quite nice. But I don't dislike the look of this phone, and it's been with its looks, it has been an absolute smash hit in terms of like lots of other tech YouTubers and loads of people on TikTok, etc., like talking about how much they like them. And if you like reading and you want reading in your pocket all the time, it's a winner. It's really very good. Okay, I've split this between the HiBreak. I've split this between the Palma 2 and the Palma 2 Pro because of the extra features that you get on the Palma 2 Pro. And here's the Palma 2 Pro. It's a color screen and it's got 4G and it's got the stylus, basically, is the improvements there. It's not got 4G, it's got 5G rather. So there we go. But the other one that is out there to be compared to it is the one that I've daily driven for the longest time and enjoyed the most, really, out of the e-ink phones that are out there, like actual phones, because the Palma 2 Pro is still not really a phone. And let's hope that this guy doesn't get staged right now. There we go. The HiBreak Pro, and I'm going to lump the HiBreak Pro and the Pro Color together because the only difference between the two is the color screen. So there's more difference between the Palma 2 Pro and the HiBreak Pro Color and black and white. So I'm going to lump those two together. So this is here representing both of the HiBreak Pros. And I've given my HiBreak Pro black and white to my mum, actually, to have a little go with and see how she gets along with it. Because I notice a lot of the time, especially when we visit her, when she's at her place near the coast, and she's reading, she's trying, she's one of these constantly, loves being outdoors, loves walking, and constantly trying to look at her phone like this, trying to shade it. And one of the things she likes doing on her phone is playing little word games and things like that. And she likes reading on her phone. So she prefers reading on her Kindle Oasis. So I figured she'd get along really very well with the HiBreak black and white. So I've kind of given that to her on a long-term loan, as we say. It's a permanent loan. But these are the two. These are going to be the top two. And I think the only difference really is this is a phone and this is got a pen support. And that's the difference. So if you want a phone, you go here. If you want a pen support, you go here. I think that I can just wrap it up there really. Do put your own votes in there, which one you think the HiBreak Pro or the Palma 2 Pro should be the top, or if you think ViWoods or anything else should be as well. I'll close that poll in just a second, but I will not abide by that. I will tell you which I think is the best. So this is actually closest to replacing the phone. If you want to go fully cold turkey on your iPhone, then go with this. If you want to keep using your iPhone or your Android and just have something extra to read on with you in your other jeans pocket, I suppose, then go with the Palma 2 Pro. That's only if you don't. I said at the top of the stream, the reason why I don't use this only is because I love watching YouTube really on my phone, and it's a major thing for me. But you can see how many apps I've downloaded. I've properly committed to this for some time, and it worked. I got great signal. I enjoyed having it in my pocket. I just enjoyed it, really. I think you can get away with this unless you need video, basically. But if you need video and you need other things, then I think you'll try and replace it and you'll end up going back as well. And I think that's partly it. And I think, you know, maybe this is kind of partly kind of for me, that I'm still seeing these as a kind of an additional device. That for me, at least, I think the Palma 2 Pro is the very top choice. And I'll tell you for why in a second. I think the Hybreak Pro, either color or black and white, entirely up to you, just whichever you fancy, really. If you see yourself just wanting to read more in novels, then just stick with black and white. If you see yourself as wanting to use different apps, like things like the voice recorder, like Otter that I said, things like I you know, it's one of my guilty pleasures is checking my YouTube studio all the time. I kind of, when I was hacked, I kind of didn't know what to do with myself half the time. I'm so used to just seeing how my channel is going on and how the latest video is done and everything like that, and just sending out quick posts and things like that, that I was a bit lost without just being able to check my analytics. Anyway, really like this thing. Great, like all of the modes are really good. The anti-ghosting, can you see it clear out really, really well? I don't know if I've done much reading, I've got much going, but I've shown this quite a lot. The colors are really good. Yeah, generally, I just think it's a good shout. Yeah, and it was a really tough call, but it's going to be this. This is going to be the winner, and the winner is because of the stylus, and I've been living with it as my planner. So if I just check, what am I doing tomorrow, everyone? My day at school tomorrow. I'm going to teach weathering and erosion, give some feedback in period 2. Got feedback and teaching global warming in period 3. Got my little notes. I just think, in a way, this is kind of all the e-ink tablet that you might need. I don't think it's all the e-ink tablet you might need, actually, but like as a partner to maybe the Note Air 5C. Talked about that quite a lot. This is a great e-ink combo. As a partner to the Note Max, maybe, which you talked about at the top of the thing. You know, these notes are going to be on here, and these notes are going to be on here. They're going to sync across. I really quite like this little case, actually, because it's just pull it out and it's mobile. I think, yeah, I think you don't expect it to replace your phone entirely, because it can't make calls and things like that. I tend to leave the stylus attached there, like so. It's not terrible, but what it does is it you know, it's not as good as the EMR, of course, but it allows you just to make those quick notes. And no, I'm not going to be able to do the intense bits of writing that I want to do on e-ink and the long reading sessions as well. But it's there as Kindle in your pocket. It's there as 4G, 5G, anywhere you need to be. I don't think I've got it in the SIM card in it just now, but I do usually, and a reason for putting the SIM card in something else in my backup SIM. Sure, it's not the most up-to-date design, but the screen looks really, really good. And comparing that, as I did, to the Kindle, I mean, the screen can look just absolutely incredible. Again, Kaleido free. Give it some nice sunlight, and it can look absolutely great. I don't know, obviously not been uploaded yet. It can look just, yeah, stupendously good. Okay, agree or disagree? It seems like 45% of you agree, and a few of you disagree. Rod disagrees. I will go into the chat in just a moment as well. Lots of things that I really quite like about this. Just going to give myself 20 seconds. and then we'll be back and we'll digest this and see if you agree or disagree, everybody. Okay. Recently, my channel hit 50,000 subscribers, so thank you so much to each and every one of you who spend any time here watching my content. I'm always interested to hear what you've got to say, and I always value your comments and your questions to inform my content going forward. But I would absolutely love it if I could hit 100,000 this year, so please go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed, and let's run those numbers up to get to 100k in 2025. Cool. Okay, so what do you all think then? Let me know. Let's have a quick chat, and then I'll leave that there. It's been really awesome to hang out with you all. I said, by the way, that I would figure out how to do the gifting of memberships, but unfortunately I haven't found that option yet. So I'll find that. Maybe it's just only in the US at this point. I don't know. I'm gonna just end that poll, I think, just now, because you guys have completed that, and the Palma 2 Pro won by about 50%. So about 10 of you have voted for the Palma 2 Pro, just like me. So it's a winner. Yeah. I'm happy with that order. Of course, you can feel free to disagree. You can have your own YouTube channel and disagree with me on that. That's absolutely warmly welcome. It's great fun. Everyone does. Loads of people are doing that already as well. So let's just fire in there. So back to the XTEINK, not at all refined, but works. The end of English setting may be different for each EPUB, but it's another e-ink toy. Yeah, don't disagree. Yeah, and I really like that. I really like. I bought that because I really wanted it to work. I think I bought that. Although did they send it to me? I'm not sure, but I certainly would have paid like the 50 quid that's worth to have a crack at that. And they're developing it, and they're responsive, and as I said, the battery life's been really good on it. We're more interested in Mudita Kompakt if it ran above Android 12. It's the form factor of my LG QWERTY slider, my first phone I still love. Yeah, I know what you mean, that smaller form factor. It's quite chunky though, but I guess that's a good battery in it as well. It's got a little camera in it. There's lots to like about the whole form factor there. Agree? Yeah, that was the low version of Android on here as well. Yeah, but you've not got Google Play Store, which again is a turn off, isn't it? ViewWoods gets Rant's vote. Tell him if he's right or wrong. My pleasure to give you all the information. Versus the Palma 2 only. Obviously, I see. Pardon me. So you're saying that it should have been ViewWoods should have been at spot 3, and the Palma 2 Simple should have been 4th. Okay, fine, interesting. If you have a regular SIM card, can you use Wi-Fi calling on the Palma 2? Yeah, you can. I think so. I'm not sure actually. No, so Wi-Fi calling is different from voice over IP. I can't answer that one. I'm not sure at this point. I think Palma 2 Pro wins it for me because of the pen function. Yeah, and it's just having that extra bit of functionality, isn't it? Really, it's not the it's not the best pen in the world. Of course, it isn't. But just being able to have that, access to your notes, being able to get onto your OneNote and cross something off, tick off your lists, add the little tiny scribbles here and there. It's fine. I mean, I will go back to a bigger e-ink tablet and daily drive that at work. But actually, because I have on things that are this size, I normally have all my question sets and everything like that. Some of my work solutions, some like sort of lesson plan documents, things like that on here as well to reference during the day. So, I don't think it's big enough for that, for example. But for just my little planner, it's fine. I got my first Kindle Oasis this week and I love it. Yeah, it's amazing the longevity of that device. I don't know why they haven't replaced it. Maybe there'll be an Oasis Color or something. Oasis Color soft would be cool, wouldn't it? Hard to think any Bigme device will make my top of any list. Yeah, but it is good. There's a reason for that being easy to recommend because it is a good phone. One thing Bigme have really got right, and I'll be revisiting Bigme a few times, but they have really got the phones right. They did have that issue with the data thing, but really that was a bit of dormant hardware that wasn't causing any kind of anyone to lose their account information. I made the mistake of like diving into Reddit to find someone who had made a post that might have helped get my channel back, and you know, just brought it to the attention to somebody. And I dived into Reddit, and of course, a few people say, "Oh, I know why he's been hacked. It's because of Chinese phones and things like that, Chinese devices." And no, my Google account is totally secure if I'm signing into real Google Play, and that's what got me. It was, you know, it looked like I was signing into Google, and I wasn't. It was just it was a sign in with Google button that wasn't a real sign in with Google button. So there we are. That's in my previous live stream yesterday, if you want to have a little look back at that. Thanks so much for your support, and, you know, going ahead and watching some stuff and sharing some things, and just generally being as engaged as you can on my channel to get things back, because there's certainly certainly we've lost a fair bit of momentum due to that week off. Yeah, it is my data addiction, as I said. I think it probably has done me quite good to just take a moment, and I'd planned to have a quite calm December anyway, and now I've had my week off, and now I'm gonna go for it for the next week or so. Yeah, Bigme is not a great name, but I think obviously the in translation, like in their early stuff, they had the tagline like for the greater you. So Bigme is like great you. It's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. It's intended, like, you know, to be like devices and hardware and tech that can kind of lift you up and improve things for you and make you be your best self. You know, it's kind of like that slightly lost in translation there. Yeah, and it's just because it's there. You know, it is just about usable for some simple scribbles. Hello to you. Dr. Ling's here. What up, Rod? Bummer I missed stream earlier. Yeah, it was a good stream earlier. I like Rod's energy. Like his because they've stopped making them, I think. Hisense don't make ink phones, as far as I can tell just now. Vote would have been a Breaking Bad. Tough one. Breaking Bad's a good time. I've had my Hybreak Pro as a main phone for a couple of months, and I like how easy it is to type on. It's the first place to go to check WhatsApp. Yeah, good. Yeah, so do you have that on a second SIM card, but then linked to your main phone? That's the way I was running it. So WhatsApp was, you know, this was a partner, so a linked device, and then my main phone was the main WhatsApp. My pleasure. Oh, that's nice. You know, glad to hear it. I think you're going to like it. I think it is a kind of device that people love for that reason. It's been lovely to have you here, Paul. I don't think I've seen you on a live stream before, but I do think it is a really lovely thing. Get the white one, in my opinion, because it's easy to love this device. And my first video on it was like, this is my favorite e-ink device of 2025, and that's still true, because it's like, this is what I've been saying, I want an e-ink phone, and I've tried just an e-ink phone. This is like just like a run-of-the-mill slab phone with an e-ink screen, and they've done it well. But it's pretty much just a Android phone. You know what you'd get from your basic Android phone, but just with a well-managed e-ink screen. That's what you can expect for this. But this is something different. This is a Boox Palma with all the reasons that people kind of love those. The handheld reading experience, the really great screen on it, but then they've just enabled you to use it with mobile data and have the stylus input on it as well. So dive in, mate, and let us know how you find it, please. Palma 2 is definitely not a phone yet. Big smile to you. Scribe Color Soft, I would love to try out, but it's not in the UK yet. I'll try and get my grubbies on one by hook or by crook and let you know. I'm sure it'll be good. And certainly the videos we've seen so far, like it's going to be the same screen as this. So it's going to look good in terms of color. I'm sure it'll be very good. Palma is way too expensive. Yeah, so if you're thinking that I just want a Palma, if you're not worried about the pen, maybe you want the 4G, then definitely look at the HiBreak S. That's the value in this market right now. It's like less than 200 quid. It's good. It does the job. Okay, so definitely worth a shout if you're interested in that. Not live in the UK, no. Definitely pick the Palma 2 if it was a phone, you know. At this point, I'm asking myself, why is it so hard to make a phone that can actually compete with Hybreak Pro? Yeah, I don't know why they didn't make it a phone, because they could. They could do that tomorrow, probably by software. Very glad to be back, Marcelo. Very glad to be back indeed. I didn't save them. Not sure what that was a response to, but it doesn't matter. How hard would it be to sync data between Bigme phone and a Boox Note Air 3? Yeah, not as easy as it would be to. You basically, both of them, I believe, can sync up to a third party, like a Google Drive or something. So it just depends what you need to sync, really. Certainly easier to sync with the Palma Pro and the Bigme, and the Note Air 3. And again, I think this is an interesting one I've been talking about quite a lot, the kind of combos of e-ink. And I've said that my favorite combo is the Note Air 5C and the Palma 2 Pro. But Bigme and one of their devices could certainly be a great combo. And the ViewWoods and one of their devices could certainly be a great combo as well. So watch this space on that, because I think that's where the companies need to develop things next, is how the link between their small mobiles and the big guys work. And that's Remarkable included as well, you know. And I think that's the interesting development in the first half of 2026, probably. Who does that best with software? Thoughts on the Palma 2 Pro? I've just put it as my very top. There we go. So my thoughts are, it's really good. So on Reddit, this Palma 2 Pro has a lot more precision with a paper-like screen protector, since the stylus then has more grip. Yeah, always you want a little bit more grip. And again, if the ViewWoods, the ViewWoods screen is much rougher than the Palma 2 Pro screen. So actually, the Palma 2 Pro is a bit rougher than the previous Palma was. And they're about the same. But I think having a bit more of a paper-like texture would have made it better, actually. On the Palma 2 Pro is still quite slippery. So yes, it would have more grip if you'd done that. 251, I bought one yesterday. I used to read a lot of articles, play chess on my computer. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, great. I hope you enjoy it too. Take your time and follow my advice about getting the what do they call it on Windows again? The True Type, just to get it looking as good as it can be, and persevere with it, and get used to changing the modes and give it enough light. There's loads of things, and I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks again. Okay, everybody, it's been wonderful. I hope you agree with me. I don't hope you agree with me. You're very warmly welcome to totally disagree. I will see you all real soon. And yeah, I've got a couple of videos coming this weekend. I'm looking forward to indulging my data addiction and seeing how they do. Please go ahead and help me out, get that momentum back by liking, sharing, subscribing, and all that jazz. For me, it's as simple as that, really. If you're looking for another device, an e-reader in your jeans pocket, then go to the Palma 2 or the Palma 2 Pro. But if you're looking to try and replace your phone, then one of the Bigmes is the ones that can actually do the phone. Either the budget option is the HiBreak S, or the more premium, you want the fingerprint reader and you want NFC, slightly larger as well, not by much, but a little bit, then go for the Hybreak Pro. I would say all of these on the list were a winner, but no, it's really the top 5 that are the winners. I think. What was the 5th one again? Yeah, it's the top 5 for me that are a strong recommend. Cheers. All the best. Have a lovely evening or an afternoon or whatever's going on with you.